My name is Anna. I was born in 1985. This makes me part of Generation Y, which is also known as the Millennial generation. The term millennials refers to people born within the years 1982 and 2000. We are a distinctly different generation from previous generations. We grew up with computers in our home. And because of the internet, we are the most highly communicative and globally cultured generation of all time. This overload of information has made us insane multitaskers. And within this first 30 seconds of my talk, a millennial has probably sent 3 texts, posted a selfie, and ordered a pizza on his phone. We are also the most highly educated generation of our time, with 63% of us graduating with a bachelor's degree. Growing up, our parents strived to give us this perfect life, constantly involving us in music and sports and organizations to develop our social and cognitive learning skills. They constantly encouraged us and awarded us for participation, thus giving us unwavering self-esteem. We grew up in a generation where our parents told us we could be whatever we wanted to be. And now they all wonder why we're bloggers and fashion designers and rappers, and we live at home, and we're frustrated with the job market. Well, this is greatly in part to the recession of 2008, which was simultaneous with when the first wave of millennials were graduating college, led to believe that if we worked hard and got a degree, that we'd find acceptance and jobs on the other side of college. Well, this wasn't the case. We went into a job market that was crumbling. And due to soaring tuition costs, we amassed more debt than ever. Thus, the cost of our education did not seem as valuable, especially when half of the nation's unemployed are under the age of 35. And many millennials who are working are overqualified for their jobs or working in fields that don't require their degree. And the US will have to create 4 million more jobs before career levels for young adults are at the same levels than before the economic crash. The good news is, this recession creates an opportunity for new businesses. And millennials are the perfect breed to build these new businesses. This was definitely my experience. I graduated college in 2007, decided to work for a corporate company, and within a year, our entire office was laid off due to the recession. And I didn't have a job. And I thought, how do I not have a job? I'm smart, I'm talented, I'm extremely hardworking, and I just invested over $100,000 on a fashion degree. This isn't fair. So I felt sorry for myself for a little while. And I applied to countless jobs. And finally one day, I was like, if I can't find a job in fashion design, I'm just gonna be a fashion designer. And that's when I fell into entrepreneurship and started my first company. I didn't really know what to do at first, so I started making designs in my tiny little apartment, begging boutique owners to come see them, organizing low-budget photo shoots and fashion shows just to get my clothes out there. And people liked my clothes. Within 2 months, I was in national magazines, and I had celebrities wearing my clothes, and my clothes were in stores. It was amazing. Now, I had no formal business or marketing degree whatsoever, or formal education. So I had to learn very quickly. How do I make a business plan? How do I do finances? How do I do production? So I had to ask a lot of annoying questions and use my primary source, the internet. You see, millennials understand that you can learn anything instantly on the internet. This is huge. So I began building this business, and my client list grew and my production grew. And this whole time, I never really thought of myself as a business person. I was a fashion designer, not a business owner. The success of my company was directly relative to the joy I felt seeing women wear my art, not any potential profits. And I remember the first time someone called me an entrepreneur, And I thought, me? An entrepreneur? I thought entrepreneurs were old rich men. And so as I fell more into self-employment, I realized how it was a perfect fit for me, and how my corporate job had been such an ill fit for me. I entered the job force at 22 years old as an entry-level employee, and I had no voice. No one listened to my opinion. I was given menial tasks that would take me an hour to complete, and I would spend the rest of the day acting busy. It was a waste of my time, it was a waste of my skill set, and it was a waste of the company's money. And during this, I also realized the huge communication gap between generations in the workforce. See, millennials are so good with digital communication, but we're also more likely to shy away from direct personal communication. This is also heightened with social media. We're so used to constantly using digital technology because we grew up during a time where cell phones were the norm. We treat cell phones like an extension of our body. Nearly 8 in 10 millennials sleep with a cell phone next to them. I know I do. Sometimes I literally fall asleep with it in my hand. And with social media, we are the first generation to have instant connectedness to anyone on the planet, this platform of self-expression. And while older generations may see our postings on social media as vain, we use it as a genuine kinship, and we want to see what other people are doing. This leads me to my first of 5 traits on why millennials are so perfect for entrepreneurship. Number 1, we are marketable. Using social media has helped us with self-branding. When we post photos and post statuses, we're seeing who likes what and at what times and what photos get more likes. And this is subconscious marketing. These marketing analytics resonate in our brain and teach us about a consumer who not only wants to learn about a product, but who is genuinely interested in the people behind the product. Why do you think Pinterest, Tumblr, and Facebook were all founded by millennials? Second, we are efficient. This onslaught of stimulus has given us a great demand for efficiency. Convenience and immediate gratification is norm for us, so we're always looking for ways to make things faster and better. We're also much more interested in a competence-based workforce rather than the classic age and rank system. We're more likely to hear good ideas no matter where they come from. Previous generations say that we're lazy and entitled because we're less subservient in structured environments. But that's because we're bored. We want a challenge. We're so used to having our brains always stimulated that we would rather work really hard for 8 hours than to do nothing for 8 hours. Have no doubt, we want to work. Third, we are hustlers. This lack of job security has turned us into hustlers, branching out into new ways to find income. I see it all the time with people around me, getting part-time jobs, selling their goods online, going into other fields just to pay their bills. I know this was my experience for the last 5 years. Oftentimes I'd work 80, 90 hours a week between building my company and doing freelance illustration and teaching at the School of the Art Institute and doing tutoring on the side, just fitting it all in so I can get a paycheck. Because there would be weeks where I wouldn't make any income. Fourth, we are flexible. We understand the importance of evolution to stay ahead of the game. We also understand the importance of brand relevancy, updated technology, and continuing education to stay relevant. We realize that one skill set is not going to give us employment for the next 40 years, so we're constantly learning and branching out into new areas. Schedule flexibility is also really important to us. 45% of millennials value workplace flexibility over pay. We prefer non-traditional work hours if it meant less commuting time and a more conducive social life. and we are getting married and having children later in life, so we have this time in our schedule. And most millennial females do not see themselves as stay-at-home moms, but we do want families. So having a schedule that revolves around our life is very important. Now you can start to see how all these traits work well for entrepreneurship. Earlier I told you that our parents told us we could do whatever we wanted to do. Well, that's the most important trait of being an entrepreneur. Being passionate, loving what you do, and doing what you love. This has been really important for me and my companies. I now own 2 companies. I own a fashion design company that sells all over the world, and a private tutoring company that helps young millennials prepare for standardized tests. And I love both these jobs. I love marketing and branding, which is really just a public sharing of who I am as a person. I love creating my own schedule and being my own boss, so it works around my personal life. And I love being in control about how my time is used to increase efficiency and feel self-worth. I love it. It never really seems like work to me. And it wasn't always easy. I mean, when I started out, I had no money. I didn't buy shoes for 3 years. Do you know how hard that is for a girl in fashion? I used to go out to eat with friends, and I would just eat the bread on the table because I couldn't even afford a drink. But it's always been worth it to me, and it's still worth it to me. So I want you guys to be aware of and encourage these 5 traits. We are marketable. We are efficient. We are hustlers. We are flexible, and we are passionate. And it's true, not all millennials are meant for self-employment. One needs courage and ambition and discipline. But we are on this track. So I want to leave you with this. To older generations, my generation is not a rebellious generation. We're not trying to revolt against the man. We're just speaking a different language. And so by taking the time to communicate and understand us, you can increase productivity in the workplace with younger employees. And you can also help support the future of new businesses by financing and encouraging young entrepreneurs. Also, encouraging students who show entrepreneurial traits and teach them about starting a business. And to my fellow millennials, I get your frustration with this terrible economic hand we were dealt. I get it. But you have to realize this is a huge opening for us, a huge opportunity for us to fill. Realize your strengths. Value these characteristics we've developed. If you have an idea or want to start a new business or you just want to be self-employed, you can do it. Make a solid plan, get over your fear of failure, and work really hard. Because today is a perfect day to create your own success.